like you said, it sucks to be spoiler, but it has to be done. You know, when he's riding into the sunset, like you said, I'm still gonna be here chugging along, trying to get a title shot. If we get to the 5 second, bro, if we get to the fifth round with the 10 seconds left, I think he might beat me to it and might point down first. And for sure, I'm gonna happily accept that any day of the week.
Last 10 seconds. That's the challenge Max Holloway is sending to Dustin Poirier ahead of their high-stakes BMF title clash at UFC 318. Holloway, never one to shy away from a fight's dramatic finish, dares Poirier to meet him in the center of the octagon and trade shots when the clock winds down, something fans would love to see from two warriors known for their grit and heart. It's the kind of moment that could turn the fight into an instant classic, especially with what's at stake: legacy, titles, and one fighter's final walk to the cage.
Like you said, it sucks to be spoiler, but it has to be done. You know, when he's riding into the sunset, like you said, I'm still gonna be here chugging along, trying to get a title shot or trying to win trying to become a double champ and make history. So at the end of the day, I gotta go out there and do my thing. You know, it sucks that it has to be this one. It has to be Dustin's last one, but that's just the way the cards unfold. I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, the rankings. I wouldn't take too concern of it, or take it too seriously, just because you and I know we live in a sport where moments are kings. You know what I mean? If I can go out there, I can have a UFC 300 moment again.
As the UFC heads to New Orleans for one of the most emotional and career-defining nights in its recent history, the spotlight is firmly on two of the sport's most respected veterans. Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier have a well-documented history filled with mutual respect and competitive fire. They've faced each other twice before, with Poirier taking both wins. Now, they'll close the chapter with a trilogy bout that carries the added weight of being Poirier's retirement fight and Holloway's chance to redeem past losses and possibly climb into title contention again.
You know, guys who are 0-2 have never won the third fight. My only caveat with that is you're talking Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. I'd say Max Holloway's evolved so much since those last two fights. Their first fight was 12 years ago. Their second fight was 6 years ago. They took the second fight on short notice, if you remember that. Wasn't a natural 155er, just kind of didn't cut weight at the time. Came in there. There's a huge power difference.
Yeah.
It's Dustin Poirier's last fight. They're both so much better since they competed 6 years ago. Way better than they competed 12 years ago. But if you had a chart on who's progressed the most, it'd be Max Holloway, especially at 55, especially now he's older. He's so much better. He's so much better.
Holloway isn't just coming into this fight with revenge in mind. He's bringing confidence, strategy, and a hunger to reclaim his place among the UFC's elite. He believes this is the perfect moment for him to showcase the evolution in his game and prove that he can beat Poirier, not with emotion, but with calculated adjustments. Despite his recent knockout loss to Ilia Topuria, Holloway has stayed mentally strong and determined to bounce back in style.
Come July 19th. Who's to say I'm not right there for an undisputed title again, So we see what happens. With Dustin, bro, like he's a point down guy too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he started, if he initiated it, So at the end of the day, I mean, you got to. If we get to the 5 second, bro, if we get to the fifth round with the 10 seconds left, I think he might beat me to it and might point down first. And for sure, I'm gonna happily accept that any day of the week.
Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, walks into UFC 318 with a unique mix of pressure and peace. It's a farewell fight in his home state of Louisiana, and the UFC has built the entire event around him. That kind of setting can be both inspiring and suffocating. Poirier isn't being pushed out or chasing relevance. He's leaving the sport on his own terms. That alone gives him a deep sense of happiness and pride. Motivated to deliver one last great performance, he's focused on showcasing the very best version of himself before calling it a career.
Never losing 2 fights in a row. I lost my last one, so finishing my career with that track record is incredible. For me personally, it's important I'm motivated to go out there and show that I'm still one of the best in the world, and I'm walking away from this sport on my terms, that I'm not getting squeezed out or chewed up and beat up and forced out of this life of fighting. I've just made the decision that I want to focus on my health and my family, and that I've done enough in the sport and I'm content with my career. That's all driving forces for this.
Does this have anything to do with having one last chance to jump that gilly?
Always. That's what I'm gonna miss most, is giving up position in these fights by jumping the guillotine, man.
Former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping pointed out the psychological weight of performing in front of friends, family, and fans when you're labeled a hometown hero. According to Bisping, it adds pressure fighters don't usually feel elsewhere. Having experienced the same stress himself while fighting in the UK, Bisping explained that while it can fuel an athlete, it also brings distractions and expectations that can throw even the best off their game.
He makes a lot of money outside of the octagon as well. The hot sauce, I'm sure, is killing it. He has the Good Fight Foundation as well, and he does a lot of great work there. And when he retires at only 36 years old, there's going to be a lot of things that Dustin Poirier can do. So, is the motivation still there? Of course, it's in New Orleans, his hometown. The UFC are going there specifically for Dustin Poirier, and that's incredible.
Yeah, this is for him. He wanted to have his last fight and end his career in New Orleans, so here we are.
And that could be the fairy tale farewell to an unbelievable career for one of everyone's favorite fighters, okay? But it brings a lot of pressure. It brings a lot of anxiety. You got friends and family, they're all in town. They all want to see you perform. You're like the local hero. It brings a lot of pressure.
What adds even more intrigue to this matchup is Poirier's journey toward retirement. He said this will be his final fight, and for many, that injects a powerful emotional layer into the bout. UFC CEO Dana White made it clear that UFC 318 was designed with Poirier in mind, a tribute to one of the most beloved and battle-tested fighters in UFC history.
I've been in so many bangers, you know, and I'm probably leaving out a bunch, but I've been in wars, and those guys made me a better fighter during that time.
But the UFC doesn't script fairy tale endings, and Max Holloway seems determined to play spoiler to Poirier's perfect send-off.
We'll be live in Louisiana on Thursday, so we're going to spend the whole show on Dustin. Today, let's talk about the Blessed Express, Chael. Yeah. Max Holloway, right? He has become a bit of a a side character because Dustin's retirement has become the main focus of the fight. But Max Holloway is nobody's side character. Max Holloway is the BMF champion, and Max Holloway still has plans to not only defend his BMF belt and beat Dustin Poirier and send him off on the loss, but this dude still has championship aspirations.
While Poirier has proven his boxing prowess in the past, especially in his second win over Holloway, not everyone believes it'll play out the same way this time. Two-time bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz gave a detailed breakdown of what Holloway needs to do differently in the trilogy. According to Cruz, the biggest adjustment Holloway must make involves his kicking game. In their previous bout, Holloway struggled to deal with Poirier's forward pressure and sharp boxing. This time, Cruz believes the answer lies in using kicks to disrupt Poirier's rhythm and close the distance on his own terms.
So Max Holloway's gonna make adjustments to this, I have a feeling. And the number one adjustment is start with the hands, finish with the kicks, because this man's moving backwards. Max Holloway's got nasty, very good kicks with a lot of dexterity. So what I think we're gonna see is this hand fight. Then you're gonna see what we wanna see out of Max is throw this backhand versus backhand on a southpaw. But what Dustin does real well is he slides back. That kick right there will work. The other thing we're gonna see out of Max, I think, once he slides back, he starts clipping you, you're gonna see this. Boom, deep kick to the gut. Hand fight, deep kick. There's no hook, there's no boxing. The way that Max can beat the boxing of Poirier, use his kicks, use his range. This deep kick slides in there like a jab. It's just like going here. And that's one of the things we saw out of Max as well. He was countering this head shot by going to the body. So whenever Poirier would slide back, he'd go here. And so now the adjustment, boom, right there. There's your head kick. So I think we're gonna see some adjustments for Max with that slide back hook.
Cruz sees a smarter, more diverse Holloway entering the cage at UFC 318, one who uses teep kicks like jabs, mixes up body and head attacks, and throws in more elbows and knees to keep Poirier guessing. He also emphasized that Poirier's last knockout loss came via a head kick from Justin Gaethje, which could open the door for Holloway to target the same weakness. If Holloway's able to execute a game plan based on range control and varied striking, he might finally solve the Poirier puzzle and walk away with the BMF belt.
The pulling sequences, Poirier likes to pull you into the pocket and brawl, and he's very accurate. I think we're going to see more kicks, more knees, more elbows, and a lot more trickiness out of Max Holloway this time.
The countdown to fight night has been filled with storylines and speculation. The UFC's promotional content has highlighted how much is on the line, not just in terms of belts and rankings, but in the emotional and personal stakes tied to this fight. The official countdown video takes viewers behind the scenes as both fighters prepare for one final collision. For Holloway, it's about redemption and momentum.
You know, the message that I'm trying to send is that I'm still here. You know, I know this is Dustin's retirement fight, but his last fight was for a title. I should have title contentions in my mind.
Max is doing good. He's just starting to get back into it, so pretty excited about getting that work in with him.
Right now it's just all gas, no break.
For Poirier, it's about legacy and closure.
Yo, what's up? It's Dustin Poirier here at American Top Team in beautiful Coconut Creek, Florida. Got about 5 weeks left to my final fight, The Last Dance, July 19th on pay-per-view versus Max Holloway. Tune in, guys. It's great to be down here. One more camp. Camera roll. I got to be cool. A slight build. O'Doyle rules. Still good.
The countdown to fight night has been filled with storylines and speculation. The UFC's promotional content has highlighted how much is on the line, not just in terms of belts and rankings, but in the emotional and personal stakes tied to this fight. The official countdown video takes viewers behind the scenes as both fighters prepare for one final collision. For Holloway, it's about redemption and momentum. For Poirier, it's about legacy and closure. This isn't just another fight for Holloway either. After losing all 3 bouts to Alexander Volkanovski, this trilogy offers him a shot at proving he can win the big one again. It's also a way to reassert himself as a top-tier contender in a stacked lightweight division. If Holloway gets past Poirier in convincing fashion, it opens the door to a future showdown with the likes of Justin Gaethje, or even a rematch with Ilia Topuria, who most recently knocked Holloway out for the first time in his career.
This version of Max Holloway that we're going to see, do you think it will be impacted at all by the way that he lost to Ilia Topuria? Like, he got knocked out pretty badly. It feels like enough time for him to come back, recover, find himself again, but you never quite know, right? Like we saw with Volkanovski, he had a lot of back-to-back fights. Takes a second to recover sometimes from a bad knockout.
I worry about Max after that fight, and then accumulatively everything he suffered in his career. But I think, to your point, it'd be foolish to write him off here. You know, I think it's wise to ask questions, and then, you know, and if we get unfortunate answers, then that kind of confirms at least some quiet suspicions.
That KO loss to Topuria at UFC 317 was a tough pill to swallow for Holloway. He had never been finished before, and the fact that it came after a competitive showing only made it more painful. Still, many analysts praised Holloway for how well he was performing before the knockout. It showed that even in defeat, he remains one of the most dangerous and durable fighters in the game. If anything, that loss could serve as motivation to come back smarter and stronger.
But I don't think it's wrong to have questions, and I don't think it's wrong to have suspicions, but I do think it's a little much to be like, well, he's going to show up like a shell of himself. I think just the fact that he's at 55 is going to give him a little bit more armor in general. I think that's pretty important. He's fought Dustin twice. It's not like he doesn't know what he's in for. Again, he's massively improved. I just feel like, for all the reasons why there might be some longer term issues that we have to confront, for the time being, the max we're going to get at UFC 318, 318, I think will be one of the better ones that we see. I don't think that Justin Gaethje performance at 300 was any kind of fluke.
Bisping offered his own analysis of the Holloway-Poirier matchup, highlighting that the fight will almost certainly be a striking battle with little to no wrestling involved. Both fighters are known for their elite stand-up skills, and fans can expect a toe-to-toe war. Bisping believes that if Holloway can pull off a big win here and follow it up with another strong performance, he could find himself back in the title conversation. That's especially relevant in a division where the current champ, Ilia Topuria, has been tearing through opponents and might be looking for fresh matchups soon.
Max Holloway now is the younger guy, but he's not so young that you can bully him around. I mean, look at what he did to Justin Gaethje. That knocked out Dustin Poirier, stood there with him, went toe-to-toe, went 5 rounds, and then knocked him out in the final few seconds of the last round. Max Holloway is coming into this one very motivated as well, because Max Holloway doesn't want to lose 2 trilogies. Of course, he lost 3 in a row to Alexander Volkanovski. He doesn't want to lose 3 in a row to Dustin Poirier.
Main history I ain't trying to make is trying to be a man who fought 2 different trilogies and went 0-3.
Not because that would be embarrassing, because it's just who he is. He's a man, he's a fighter. He wants to be a winner, and he wants to try and reinvent himself and go on and become a champion at 155 pounds. You got to think here for Max Holloway, if he can beat Dustin Poirier.
Poirier's path to this moment has been filled with highs and lows. He's faced the best of the best, fought in some of the most exciting bouts in UFC history, and earned respect from fans and peers alike. But his recent performances have shown signs of wear, including the head kick knockout from Gaethje that left many wondering how much he has left in the tank. Fighting at home adds another layer of unpredictability. It could either lift him to a heroic final performance or burden him with pressure he's not prepared to carry.
But it's been some time. Max has done the right thing. You remember when Volk got knocked out, he rushed back. Volk got knocked out in October, fought in January or February. Max has said, let me wait. It's all the way to July. So you give yourself a little bit of time to recover, let the chin refresh and everything. And you're right, he'd never been knocked out. With that being said, Dustin Poirier is up 2, so he is rightfully the favorite. But I think the reason it's so close is because of what we saw when Max was at 155 the last time, especially 155 healthy. The first time we saw him fight Dustin for the interim title, he just got big. You remember, when he was going to be brought in to fight Khabib in Brooklyn, he couldn't really make the weight because he was so big.
At the UFC 318 pre-fight press conference, which will be open to the public at the Smoothie King Arena, Poirier is expected to speak for the final time as an active fighter. The event itself promises to be emotional, and it's likely that fans in Louisiana will show overwhelming support. The atmosphere will be electric, but it remains to be seen whether it fuels or frustrates Poirier when the cage door closes.
Last one, because I really do want to get this in there. With the extra time you'll have on your hands, what's your biggest aspiration for the Good Fight Foundation?
To continue to see, the Good Fight Foundation was started on fight memorabilia and using the shoulders of these huge companies like Fox at the time, or ESPN and SportsCenter, and every interview I do to have a megaphone to tell people about what's going on in my community and raise money for causes. And without this platform of fighting, I don't know how that's going to continue, but my plan is to continue growing the foundation, continue doing the annual things we do every year, hopefully branching out and doing bigger things, but keep this thing running without me being able to auction off fight worn memorabilia, because I won't have any more after this one. So we'll see.
Max Holloway seems to understand the gravity of the moment. His challenge to meet in the center for the final 10 seconds isn't just for show. It's symbolic of everything this rivalry has been about. It's 2 fighters giving everything they have one last time in a fight that could define both of their careers. And if Poirier accepts that dare, the fans might be treated to one of the most memorable closing moments in UFC history.
UFC 318 on July 19th.
If you're a BMF, you're going to step up and fight anybody.
Max West Holloway, the reigning BMF belt holder. He's one of the best strikers of all time.
This was just announced, the trilogy bout with Dustin Poirier. Another man that I think that displays ultimate character.
Oh, yeah.
How do you see this one playing out?
Oh, I'm 0-2 against him, you know what I mean? And then Hawaii is 3. He's 0-3 against him because Yance fought him too. Yeah, he fought Yance in Louisiana, actually. I kind of just got told that from one of our coaches, so I was like, man, we got to get this back, bro. Hawaii got to get one, bro.
Yes.
Hawaii got to get one,
Yes.
you know what I mean? And it's a BMF title, and I keep hearing people say if he wins, then they take the title away and they retire the title. So I'm like, bro, this ain't happening.
It's your title.
Yeah.
As fight night approaches, predictions vary. Some believe Poirier's emotional farewell will push him to deliver one of the best performances of his career.
That's a real coin flip fight. Yeah, Poirier just seems to have it over on him. Just a little bit more power, a little bit more. Yeah, I'd say that fight's kind of leaning towards Poirier.
Others think the mental and physical toll of a long career, combined with the pressure of retirement, could leave him vulnerable.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Max Holloway. I love both guys, to be honest with you. I would like to see Dustin win because, it's his last fight. Nobody wants to see a guy on his retirement fight, lose. So it would be great on his part to win the fight, but I want my man Max Holloway to win. Even though Dustin Poirier's, I think they fought twice before, right?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And he's won both times.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards Justin, but I would love to see Max to win it, man. Max is just my guy.
Meanwhile, Holloway is being viewed as a man on a mission, someone who has learned from past mistakes and is ready to execute a precise game plan.
That's a hard one too. I'm a big fan of both of them, but Max looked great when he went up to 55, so I'm gonna have to go with Max.
In a sport where nothing is guaranteed, UFC 318 offers something rare, a fight with real stakes, deep history, and an emotional core. Whether it ends with a knockout, a decision, or a last-second flurry in the center of the cage, it will be a moment fight fans won't forget. And in the end, the only thing more unpredictable than how the fight ends is who will be standing when the final horn sounds. If you're ready for war inside the cage, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment of Fight Night drama. This is Ring Rivalry, where legends are made, rivalries are settled, and history is written one punch at a time.